shelter-in-place order came down that some people we spoke to didn't have a place to go and that they were literally hiding in doorways. Right behind me, there's another sort of ambulance entrance just kind of off there to my right. As we walked up, two guards, one of them flashed a flashlight and the other one flashed a long gun at me. Immediately, I threw my hands up. Absolutely, yeah. No matter who I talked to, it felt like, 2 degrees of separation. It was a friend, it was a cousin, it was, sometimes it was a brother or a mother. And so what we're seeing right now is people, like you said, remembering and grieving. And in their grief, they're trying to remain strong. Route 196 in Lisbon is open at the moment, and that manhunt is going to continue because they're going by air, by land, and by sea to find Robert Card. That I saw when I first arrived. Now, it was sitting here on the side of the road out of the building. You can clearly see some of the damage and debris, and as you kind of take behind me, you see that excavator has been pulled in, and it's because they're looking to go access some of the deeper and more harder to reach hotspots. So much to do and so much to see. The coastal gardens are the perfect place to stop and smell the flowers. We gotta head out of here. I'm gonna carry it.
Great, yeah.
Hug it out, hug it out.
Hug it out, guys.
You still have that risk for hypothermia if you are out here, that 5 to 10 minute window. These cocoa and candy canes. I've now demolished like 3 of these. And I've had like 4 glasses of cocoa. And it even wrecked backyards. Like this one right here. It knocked out the fence of this Freeport home.
Our number is 23 at this point. Wow. So the number of fatal fires, it is a little higher than normal.
Last night's deadly fire on Long Island in Casco Bay claimed the life of a 69-year-old man who lived in the home on Atlantic Lane. The 6th deadly fire this month, State Fire Marshal Richard McCarthy says his office is looking for answers to the rising trend.
There's a lot of different pieces that we have to put together and look at why we are losing folks to fires, that we have the technology to prevent a lot of these.
With heating season right around the corner, you may be tempted to break out the portable heaters, but the fire marshal warns that have things like proper smoke and carbon monoxide alarms, as well as at-home fire extinguishers, just in case something goes wrong.
So have your furnace cleaned, have your chimney cleaned. Make sure that your smoke detectors, we just changed our clocks back. That's when we change the batteries. That's when we test them. Also make sure that we have CO detection in the house.
If you can't afford a smoke detector, your local Red Cross has you covered. Through their home fire campaign, they're hoping to save lives at no cost to Mainers.
If you need a smoke alarm, reach out to the Red Cross. We will come to your home. We will look at your existing smoke alarms, test them, and figure out how many additional smoke alarms you may need.
More information on fire safety and the home fire campaign can be found on their website. For Maine's Total Coverage, I'm Miles Hood.
It was risky business. These were very brave people because it was against federal law.
Where we now see busy streets in a vibrant city once stood a secret passageway. You wouldn't think twice about it, but the streets we walk every day helped guide escaping slaves to freedom.
And we do know that people were either secretly or deliberately smuggled by ship to places like Portland. You could go up the coast in vessels, hidden or deliberately, and get to Canada that way, like through Machias in Washington County. Those who believed in the Underground Railroad.
History professors like Herb Adams are working to uncover the story of those who risked danger conducting and traveling on the Underground Railroad.
For whites, the penalty was conviction, fines, and imprisonment. And for blacks, it was capture and return to the South and slavery.
Because helping an escaped slave was illegal, very few first-hand accounts exist. What we do know is when an escaped slave would arrive in Portland, this is one of the first places they would go. This is the Abyssinian Meeting House.
Take a walk through, and you'll see the part that the slaves saw as they walked up the street. It still exists in the building. Come up that stairway.
Opening in the mid-1800s, record tells us that the Meeting House not only was a safe house, but also a church and a cultural hub for Portland's black community.
The wall. It provided a place for black people to have church in a segregated community, to have businesses in a segregated community.
It's one of 75 identified safe houses within the state and the only one recognized by the National Park Service. The building is looking to be restored as a way to preserve the history for generations to come.
It was never written in the state's history, so what our focus has been is to make sure that history is rewritten the way it was.
As a refugee from slavery, you're probably coming in on a ship.
The Abyssinian is just one way to engage in Portland's living history.
And the hack driver was Reuben Ruby.
Dugan Murphy owns Portland by the Foot, a guided walking tour you can take that brings Portland's history to life by exploring iconic landmarks that are still with us today.
This was what you'd call a black run waterfront. There's so much history in Portland about the free black people here, the work that they did not just to help end slavery in the South, but just the joy of the community here and the things they were able to do and accomplish.
Through the work of those looking to preserve and teach history, we have monuments like this one that let us know a little bit more about a very important part of Portland's history. For Maine's Total Coverage, I'm Milesahood. Whether it's a truck or an electric car or any other vehicle for that matter, buying a new car is so expensive. So many drivers are now considering leasing as the best option. Christina Frank in Consumer Reports gives you valuable insight on how to get started. The Dempsey Challenge also took place in Lewiston again. This year's running, walking, and bike riding event marked 15 years of working to give cancer patients and their families a better life. Now, with a goal of $1.8 million, roughly $1.7 was raised, and top fundraisers included Fran Stanhope and Kathleen Winslow. This morning, Falmouth police continue to search for a suspect connected to a robbery at Shaw's Supermarket. This happened on Route 1 yesterday morning. Now, according to employees, the suspect was wearing a green hoodie, baseball cap, sunglasses, and baggy gray pants.